Rockin' bods and musical gods? I'm Too Sexy is the dance track and music video that encompassed narcissism and posing by the British group Right Said Fred. Is this song a wonder, a blunder, or just too sexy for our podcast? Hey, what's going on?
You're good? You're Aaron, right?
I am.
Last time I checked.
Mm-hmm.
Question. Actually, 3-point question.
Like
Do you
trifold?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you ever feel, I don't know, maybe like too sexy?
Daily.
Too sexy for your shirt?
No.
And then like so sexy, it actually hurts.
No. I mean, if I took off my shirt, I have like a soft serve type of
So you can
body.
get your shirt off without it hurting.
I can, but it might hurt other people's eyes when I take off my shirt.
So you don't understand who we're talking about today.
No.
We're actually going to talk about Right Said Fred.
Right Said Fred, okay, yeah.
They are too sexy.
I mean...
They are. I'm too sexy. It's their song. They were too sexy.
That's a pretty blatant, pretty direct
That's
title.
What they were.
Yeah.
All right, let me tell you a bit about these guys.
All right, so Right Said Fred, as we know,
Brothers.
Brothers.
Did you know this?
Yes, single.
You knew that they were brothers?
I did know they were brothers.
Okay, I did not know before this that it's Fred and Richard Fairbass.
Yeah, so my question is, what happened to Richard? Why is it Fred that gets all the...
Well, couldn't find that in the details.
Sure.
But I can tell you that their band formed in 89.
Okay.
And they have #1 hits in 70 countries.
It's so stupid.
Including the U.S.,
the
UK, and Japan.
I can see Japan. And I actually can see UK because they're from the UK.
Yes,
yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. What are these guys' stories? How did they get so sexy?
So, if you guys haven't tuned in yet, which I don't think you have,
why would you?
It's our first podcast. We are going to go over the ups and downs, the whys and hows of super famous songs, or how songs became even in the popular mainstream. And you just sit there and you're like, how did this happen? That is our goal. Lori will break it down marketing wise, if they had an interesting album cover, a little bit of the history of it. And me, Aaron, as being a musician, I will break it down musically to see if we can unravel the Da Vinci Code mystery of how these songs became in the forefront of our minds during this time. So, any specific things about the history of the song, Laura, you'd like to add?
There's a lot about the Fairbass brothers that I was not aware of before this song. And can I just say, from the beginning, this song, you listen to it, an earworm. It is going to be in your head for like the next 4 days, right? Okay. So obviously they're best known for I'm Too Sexy, but they've had writing credits for people like Taylor Swift.
No.
And they've been featured in over 50 films.
So is it in 50 films, were all those films I'm Too Sexy? Do you have any idea?
It didn't say. So I'm guessing.
I'm going to guess a good portion.
I don't know.
It's like the main character sitting on the couch and a Fiat commercial comes on and I'm Too Sexy is playing.
I don't know. It didn't say. I'm not going to hold it against them.
Good on them. That's where we're
If they can make $1 off of it in these times,
sure.
Good for them.
Yeah, I would agree.
So can I give you a little bit of details behind the music? Because it's a very deep song.
Yes. Yeah, break it down. What did this balding, bulky brothers, what did they do to make this happen so astronomically?
So this actually, when I found this out, I gained a lot of respect for the Fairbass brothers. They used to own a gym.
Sure.
They might still own a gym. That is unbeknownst to me.
Okay.
But they wrote this song centered around people that used their gym. So it was really like they were making fun of the people coming to their gym, pumping iron, being like, oh, I'm so sexy. I can't do anything else but be like so sexy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like learning that from a marketing perspective, I was like 100% props to you guys for actually like doing that and putting that out there.
Gotcha.
That's where the song comes from. That's the
So
whole
just
origin.
them
Them watching people work out and being like, oh, some of these people might be kind of douchey. My words, not theirs.
Sure.
But
was it their words?
no, I that came out of my
words.
mouth.
Yeah. Lori's words were they were douchey. Yeah.
But seriously, so this song comes out because they owned a gym, watched people work out, thought that people were being a little bit ridiculous, and then they have a song that tops the 100 charts of the Billboard 100 charts
Sure.
at number 1 in the U.S.
Yeah.
because people are working out and thinking like, I need to have my nipples show more through my wife
My
beater.
my mesh shirt.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, good for them.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you have seen the video, but obviously it kind of falls within that, jovial making fun of people. Basically, the whole premise of why they made this song. I remember it as a youngster coming up in the early 90s. And at that time,
Trying to be too sexy for your cat.
as a 9-year-old, yeah, that
Right.
was my whole goal.
Yeah.
But I remember at that specific time, Madonna had Vogue, and it seemed like modeling and runways were very much on the forefront of pop culture at that time. So having a song where you're singing, I'm a model, you know what that means, and I do my little turn on the catwalk, that very much played into the pop culture at the time. So that probably had a lot to do with their kind of skyrocket to, fame.
Weird fame. Absolutely. So I found like some quotes from critics, and they would describe them as humorous yet misunderstood, cheesy as hell, but they aren't trying really to do anything else
Sure.
but just to be fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it worked, because it wasn't serious. And I think if you were trying to be serious and come out and be like, I actually am too sexy for my cat, someone might be like, I'm actually going to slap you across the face.
Right. There's a lot of other things that come with it when somebody's actually trying to be, too, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know the word I'm looking for, but
We will Google it later and insert it.
Yes. The word of the day is to be continued. Yes, I agree with you. As, being a musician, I know how important it is to try to write a single and trying to write, songs that are marketable. I feel like maybe it wasn't their full goal, but I feel like a little bit of what they were doing, they wrote the perfect commercial song.
Oh my gosh, they totally got it.
yeah.
Let me tell you about it from a marketing standpoint.
Go for it.
But I also want to just interject that like there are two dogs trying to prove who is too sexy right now, and it's to be determined. I mean, we'll post pictures on a YouTube page, but honestly, to be determined. Okay, so from a marketing standpoint, this is what they did, and this is what they worked. So why did it work for them? It was different. You kind of hit on how like Madonna was doing her whole Vogue thing.
Yeah.
They kind of caught on to that and did that. But it's an earworm. Like really
totally.
nothing about the song is writing this song. I don't know. I mean, you could talk about writing this kind of song, but there's nothing that's like, oh my gosh, this is really hitting me where it hurts. It was just like, this sounds really good musically, and let's just put words to this.
Sure.
As we all know, sex sells, and their CD cover is just a red lipstick print. Like, that's all it is.
It's perfect.
Yeah, like, that's all it is.
Perfect.
The video is people walking down a catwalk, and they're mostly half naked.
Mm-hmm. I believe there was a lot of alleyway walking as well.
That's true. And the paparazzi in the video are women that are in bikinis taking pictures. So everybody is too sexy. Everyone's too sexy.
Okay, so
everyone is
so this
too
is
sexy.
So this is me. I feel like they wrote the song as a joke, but then during the process and then through the video,
I think they were like, we need to make this real.
They're like, I feel like there's an opportunity to capitalize on how, tongue-in-cheek this whole thing is. I don't know if they were that deep in the actual writing of it, but I feel like during the course of their whole process, they got to a point where they needed to, feel like they needed to point out the paparazzi and make it feel, very tongue-in-cheek for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't have written down when this song was actually recorded. Like, the band formed in 89, but I can tell you in 93. Oh, so it was probably in 92, because this was a hot single in 92. Mm-hmm. And then it was hot in 93. In 94, Ultima 2 Lipstick used the song, which was a JCPenney company.
Okay.
So, like, I think at that point, they were probably like, we need to elevate this and make it seem like we weren't just making fun of people being at a gym, and make it seem like this is actually people trying to be too sexy, because it was in, like, legitimate marketing.
Sure. So from release to their first commercial spin-off, we're only talking a couple of years.
It was like, it looks like it was like
that's
2
really
years.
not bad, because generally, when commercials or something, or any type of marketing uses songs like this, it's after they become established hits and, 10 years, to kind of throw back and instill some nostalgia. And that's what they're using it for. So that's pretty impressive to go from a main number one single to a marketing tool in only a couple of years.
Yeah, so that was in like 93, 94 that JCPenney and their Ultima Lipstick used it. But in the early 90s, a company called Frutella, which I think is based out of the UK, used the song for their candy. And instead of being too sexy, they would say it's too fruity and too juicy. So I think that's what really catapulted it. And then other companies were like, oh, hey, this is sticking. We have Vogue.
Sure.
We have this. Now we have...
I would love to think that at the beginning they were like, this is going to be marketing gold. But I feel
I don't think they ever felt
they
like
definitely stumbled into it. But I mean, whether it's writing a catchy single for radio or writing a catchy single that's going to, catch on,
make fun of people.
Make fun of people and be a commercial success. It's very much the same process. So, speaking on a little bit of the musical aspect of it, our dogs are going crazy. I apologize.
The heavy breathing is not Aaron.
It's not me being too sexy. It's our two dogs being stupid.
They are trying to be too sexy.
They are. So again, surprise, surprise. Right said Fred. From an outside aspect, from being a musician, you would think, okay, this was probably grown in a studio by a bunch of PR people, and they just found these guys and made this whole commercial juggernaut on purpose. That is not the case. They actually made the music themselves. A guitar player, let me find it here. Hold on. Rob Manzoli with one of the brothers, with DJ Tommy D.
Wicka, wicka, wicka.
Yeah. He actually borrowed a riff from a Jimi Hendrix song called Third Stone from the Sun for this song. So, I mean, it's not a boring song. It hits everything that you're looking for. It has kind of the build up and then this super jovial chorus section that doesn't disappoint. I mean, it's
Okay,
catchy.
can I just say there's one part of the song that does disappoint. He's too sexy for his cat.
But you're a dog person, so what the fuck do you care?
All right, we need to get a cat person to weigh in. That's the lamest lyric.
Okay.
But he does. Okay, so I guess
does
from
say-
like a
what does he say?
sexual
What do you think
innuendo,
about that?
like, no, he's like, I'm too sexy for my cat. Poor pussy cat. So I guess I see what he's doing there.
Yeah.
Still not a fan.
Lori hates cats. We have a bag of them ready to go into
What
a
of
river.
it?
So, as she mentioned, it became a marketing juggernaut. And as we all know, if you have paid attention to TV or anything in the last 20, almost 30 years, they have been included in multiple commercials with this one song. So good on them for writing a song that was able to achieve success really on both worlds. I mean, it did achieve commercial pop success on the Billboard charts.
Oh my gosh, everybody knows this song. Everybody knows
insane.
this song.
It's absolutely
So
insane.
I do think that like learning more about them and understanding that they've gone on after this to write more and like write for artists like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I feel like they probably, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because you're the musician, but I feel like from a musical standpoint, they're probably still fulfilled. And they're not just like, oh my gosh, all we have is this one thing.
Well, from my experience, the musicians that seem to make it with the most success, I mean, and have a happy life are the ones who do not take themselves too seriously. And
that's what that started
and these
out from.
brothers
Yeah.
basically started their career like that. So it kind of makes it easier for them to perpetuate that whole mindset for sure. So we're talking from 91 to 92. Here are the chart breakdowns. Australia, peak position number 1. Austria, number 1. Belgium, 3. Canada, number 1. Canada top singles, number 2. In Finland, only made it to 15. They didn't catch on.
Good for you,
I mean,
Finland.
right? Yeah. Germany, a lot of dance coming out of Germany at that time in the early 90s.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
a lot
that's
of dance.
when Hasselhoff became a thing, right?
That was like late 80s.
Okay.
But still, I
Sorry,
mean,
Germany.
80s Kraftwerk. I mean,
Ooh.
yeah. So it's hard
I
to
take
break
that
through.
back,
Yeah,
Germany.
It's hard to break through in the dance scene in Germany. They pretty much nailed it down. But they got number 14. Greece, number 5. Ireland, number 1. Netherlands, number 20. Norway, 2. So we're talking multiple top 10s, top 20s throughout the early 90s for this one song, which is it's ridiculous. I mean, breaking it down, it's like from a musical standpoint, there should be no reason it happened, but it's every reason it happened. And that's what pop music is. It's popular music. And they fit this algorithm that word. Catchy, easy to remember, audibly very pleasing. And it worked for them for sure.
Do you really think it's just because we could see their nipples through their wife beaters?
I mean,
that had to be a part of it.
Again, I mean, 1991, we're only talking the first, 7 years of MTV. So.
Oh, it was when MTV was still a thing.
Yeah, when they actually had videos.
Played music. Yeah, that probably helped a lot.
And they could, I mean, in this time in 1991, there was a lot of things going on. I mean, MTV was probably
playing music.
Yeah, and if not the biggest they ever were. I mean, it took...
Again, it was Vogue.
Yeah.
It was all of these trying to be models and like attaining to something that no one could do.
Yeah.
And being too sexy for your cat, apparently, which was a thing.
And so they made it to number 2 for 6 weeks in the UK charts. And it was only held back
by
Bryan Adams, Everything I Do.
Oh,
Do It For You,
God,
from Robin Hood.
Great song. Probably will not be on this podcast.
But I'm sure, Bryan Adams was sitting in his trailer like, God, that's a good song. I should have put that on the soundtrack.
So, but like it was a number one in the U.S., right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Multiple weeks.
So,
yeah. And number one in multiple countries, for sure. And the elephant in the room is we're not talking a one album group. We're talking.
Oh, no. Their career has lasted, for sure.
We're talking 10 plus albums from this. I mean, obviously, we probably don't know anything because it hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't made it to the forefront, but that's amazing to me. I mean, good for them for not just giving up. A lot of, musicians who had commercial success like this may have taken a step back and said, you know what, maybe I should just write jingles or write songs for commercials or for movies, because that's where I got my most success from. But they kind of just stuck to their guns and kept releasing albums.
So, from a musical standpoint,
yeah,
do you love it? Do you leave it? Do you punch it in the nipples? What happens to the song? That's how we're rating this one.
Okay.
From a musical standpoint, nothing to do with marketing.
Okay, so I try to be as unbiased as it comes to music.
Oh, you are judging it so hard right now.
I am, but
that's what I'm asking you to do.
I try to give it any music. I try to give a chance, or try to at least give it a redeemable quality. So sitting back, yes, this isn't my jam song. This isn't something I'm popping on, Spotify to get me going in the morning or anything like that. But it's original, super unique lyrics. It's catchy. Everyone remembers it. Musically, nothing about it. I'm putting a finger in my ear saying, oh my God, I can't even stand that. I mean, it really hits multiple reasons why it was successful. And yeah, I can see it. I mean, they if they tried to do it on purpose or not, they definitely hit a lot of the check marks of what makes a pop song a good pop song.
So long story short, this was a banger from a musical standpoint. This was a banger.
Okay, so we'll have to do like a kind of sliding scale of I don't know what you call it, but from like musical to marketing, why it...
I'm asking you musical, because I'm going to give my marketing opinion.
I'm going to say this was more famous for marketing reasons than musical reasons.
From a marketing standpoint, this blew the nipples off of the mesh t-shirt, right? And I said mesh weird. I'm sorry, you guys. I got really
I thought she just mispronounced. I thought she mispronounced mess wrong.
I got too sexy for mesh and forgot how to say it. But seriously, it worked so hard for marketing, and it was because they didn't take anything seriously. They knew it was a joke. All they did was do marketing around it. You get a commercial for your song like months into after making your song. That's all you're trying to do is make money, right? And they did it so well. Nipples off to them. Like they did such a good job. They are too sexy for this podcast is probably the way I would say it from a marketing standpoint. Sorry, I said mesh weird and made everyone uncomfortable.
Right. We understand. Lori drinks a lot.
I get excited when I talk about nipples and mesh.
She does.
I don't know. That's all I have to say about this song from a marketing standpoint. Kudos to them. I'm super pumped that they are still doing stuff. I hope they try to do an I'm Too Sexy with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I'm sure that's in the wheelhouse. They could probably do that. But
as
with any of our episodes, when we post them online or we put them up, we'll tell you what song it is, obviously for rights reasons and reasons that we don't have money to pay for the rights of songs. We encourage that you look up the song beforehand, you listen to it, take a good deep dive into it so you can kind of be on the same page with us when we are talking about this. Any other songs that you guys would like us to hear, feel free to post below. and we will take a look and see if we can meet your needs. But
Also, we should at some point in time, this is like brand new to both of us, so we don't even know if this is a thing. We'll post pictures of the furry ones that you can hear. No? Yes, we will.
this isn't a dog podcast.
People need to hear what's happening in the background so they don't think it's me just sweating and breathing heavily.
That's what's happening.
Okay, so it's me sweating and breathing heavily, but I also want you to see my dogs.
Yeah.
So, because they're too sexy for my mesh t-shirt. And that's my clothes.
Yeah, okay.
Mic drop.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to Wonders and Blunders. Just let us know if you have any other needs that you'd like to hear about. Please click below, subscribe, and we will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Peace.